So I waited a bit to make this video, firstly because the game was last night, and I was out with a few friends, so I wasn't really at home to make a video about the Canucks and Flyers game. But secondly, because right now, like at the time of me recording this audio, there are some pretty heavy rumors going around about Jack Eichel and potentially him getting moved over to Vegas, so I'm kind of, starting to cautiously optimistically believe that we may be getting closer to an Eichel trade. And sure, as a Canucks fan, I'm one of you, right? I really don't like the idea of Eichel heading over to Vegas because it really makes things a lot more tainted in the Pacific Division towards one team. But the actual topic of today's video, let's go over the Vancouver Canucks and their performance yesterday against the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, heading into last night's matchup, we had ourselves what was a whole bunch of analytics coming about with the Vancouver Canucks that painted the team in a really bad light. As of today, which is including the results of the Philadelphia game yesterday, I believe, if Natural Stat Trick updates every single day, you take a look at the Corsi for percentage in the NHL, the Vancouver Canucks are 12th last in the league. Now, 12th last isn't terrible. Okay, it's pretty bad, but you're still in the bottom half of the NHL when it comes to Corsi for percentage. If you don't know what that means, Corsi is pretty much a measurement of shot attempts towards the goal, and it includes shots that go wide, shots that get blocked, shots that go off the post. It's shot attempts in general. Corsi measures the amount of shot attempts that your team gets, and it puts it against the amount of shot attempts your team gives up, and it ratios it out into seeing which teams go out there and outshoot their opponents more often than not. The Vancouver Canucks are very frequently getting outchanced, they're not getting as many shot attempts off towards the goal, and as a result they're in the bottom half of the league. The worst part about these statistics comes in the form of the expected goals for percentage. What this stat takes a look at is it takes a look at the expected goals for rate of every NHL team. This is measured by taking a look at the quality of these shot attempts and judging how likely these shot attempts are towards being goals based off of where they are on the ice, the context, is it a rebound, is it a puck scramble, are there people in front, is it a breakaway, and then it takes a look at the speed, who's shooting it, etc. It's a lot of metrics that go into taking a look at what makes a shot attempt a good shot attempt, and the expected goals for percentage pretty much writes out which teams are good at capitalizing on these expected goal rates. The Vancouver Canucks actually have a pretty low amount of expected goals for. They're 4th last in the league, and when it comes to the expected goals for percentage, they are dead last. What this means is that the Vancouver Canucks just absolutely suck at creating offense compared to the rest of the league. They're literally one of the worst teams when it comes to making high-danger chances that go towards the goal, and they're the worst team when it comes to making those chances count and actually score. This team has been bad. But you don't need me to tell you that. You don't need me to pull up the big advanced analytics from Natural Stat Trick over here to illustrate just how poorly this team has been in creating offense. The problem here gets articulated even more when you look at what exactly the Vancouver Canucks are. Let's take a look at the roster they used in today's practice. This is via Brendan Batchelor from their practice session in Burnaby. Take a look at the top 9 of this Vancouver Canucks squad. This is pretty much the top 9 that most people were kind of pegging in heading into the 2021 season, assuming, of course, everybody remained healthy. Pearson, Horvat, Höglander as your first line there, certainly something that we're used to seeing. I've seen a lot of people actually kind of critique Travis Green for keeping Tanner Pearson with Bo Horvat, and that Bo Horvat would be much better served playing with faster wingers like Höglander and Garland, for example. That's not what we're going to be talking about here today. That's just kind of something that I'd seen been brought up. You also have yourselves Miller, Petey, Besser. Okay, the Lotto line is their second line. They need to be better. My goodness, this line was one of the best lines we had seen in hockey in like 2019 or whatever, but like, yeah, it's taken a big step back so far to kick off the year. Next up on the third line, Podkolzin, Dickinson, and Garland. So this is kind of the top 9, as I said, we had been kind of wanting to see. It's been kind of weird heading into the year because we had ourselves Justin Dowling suiting up for games, we had Brock Besser not playing sometimes, and we had other guys that were slotting in and out. But now, with Dickinson back into the top 9, and actually playing this time, it looks like we're going to have ourselves a lineup that consists of that top 9 that we really thought was going to do well. I was one of those people. I was making videos talking about how the Vancouver Canucks top 9, this forward core looks the best it has in a very long time. No longer longer do we have the Beagles and the Roussels and the Sutters? Sutter's still on the team, but you get what I mean. And all the other guys, you know, the Ericssons and the Mikael Granlunds and the Vays and, you know, all these guys. We don't even have Matthew Highmore playing. He's not in. So this is kind of what a lot of people were saying could have been the team heading into the year. And on defense, you have yourselves, you know, OEL, Myers, Hughes, Schenn, Rathbone, Burrows, Hunt, Pullman, same guys that we've had. And it's actually good to see Tucker Pullman go out there and actually play in practice today. Extra for tonight was also Patan, and you had Bailey, Lamico, Chason as the fourth line. At this point, Canucks fans are starting to lose their patience, because if we have ourselves a game against Edmonton of all teams, yeah, Edmonton, with McDavid and Draisaitl and Puljujarvi and all the big bad players that will huff and puff and blow your house down over here, if this team does not go, like if these guys are not able to go out there and actually produce in this environment with this lineup, then something else is gonna happen here, man. We gotta have something happen. Elias Pettersson, maybe he gets benched. Travis Green, who knows what happens with him? Is his future secure here in Vancouver? I'm not too sure. Take a look at how things have gone in the past 6 years under Travis Green and notice that this team in 2021 has been like one of the most boring versions of the Travis Green Canucks to have actually played, and this lineup is arguably the most talented one that we have had. It's been 7 games. 7 games? 8 games? I really don't know what the real number is, but like, it's been a small sample size. I get it, we're only 10% through the season, but this team has not been good. And the offense has been coming from guys that we really, you know, we thought they would produce, like Connor Garland and like Bo Horvat and all that, like Pod Colson getting his first NHL goal in Philly, but the top guys, Brock, Petey, Miller, what's going on here? Miller's getting points, I get that, but a lot of these points are just circumstantial. He just happens to be the guy at the right place at the right time. The Lotto line and what we've seen out of the Lotto line so far, really not good enough. 100% not good enough, and we saw that last night against the Minnesota Wild. Now, the Wild are a good team. I definitely don't want to take away from them, but the Canucks, dude, when John Shorthouse is saying on your broadcast that you barely crawled through to third period, you know you're doing something wrong. There's a reason the ticket prices in Rogers Arena are getting lower and lower and lower. Sure, we started off with the home opener, so tickets are going to be a little bit more expensive there. And sure, the next game is against Connor McDavid, and everybody wants to pay a price to see McDavid. But it's almost like Aquilini's blueberry farm is drying up for the winter, man. We have ourselves the ticket prices, they're getting cheaper. I'm not too sure what the actual number is, but just looking at it on the broadcast last night, from my own eyes, it looked like there were more purple seats, or maroon seats? Yeah, it's maroon, isn't it? Maroon seats in the lower bowl than there had been in the previous game. And a lot of people who are fans of this team are just starting to say, okay, what's going on? Like, why are we playing so poorly? Petey, what are you doing? Stop falling down. Get the puck to the corner. Stop trying to feather a tight pass through that's going to result in the turnover. Brock Besser, dude, you got to hit the net. This guy's coming up in a contract year and he's not providing what his best asset is, his wrist shot and scoring goals. I don't know if it has to do with Travis Green 100%. Okay, it's the coaching, it's the systems, it's the way that he draws out these abilities from the players that he coaches. But something has got to give, because with a lineup this talented, a top 9 that looks like this, you have yourselves the worst team in the NHL when it comes to expected goals for percentage, which is the conversion of how much these guys are able to actually score comparative to the expected goals for chances that they have, which the Canucks have a 4th lowest team metric in the entire league too. So, what? This team looks better than it did last year. It looks kind of better than it did in the bubble. I mean, okay, Toffoli is gone, Tanev is gone, Markstrom is gone, but you still have guys that can play to that standard. And besides, Tanev and Markstrom, who cares? They don't really do anything when it comes to expected goals for. So this lineup over here, despite being extraordinarily strong, something's got to give, dude. Whether it's changing up the strategies, whether it's changing up the coach, whether it's talking to the players a different way. It's been 8 games, so we're 10% through the season now, and this team is not looking all too good. Like, if they continue this way, they're not going to be a playoff team. I'll say that right here. And I've been kind of subtly pushing for the playoffs this entire time, that seeing this team really not perform to expectations, kind of makes it hurt a lot more, but you know what? That's just kind of what a Canucks fan is nowadays, isn't it? It's just pain, suffering, and being frustrated at your hockey team because you know they're capable of actually putting the puck on net or actually scoring some goals or doing some cool things, but they're just not doing it. Talk to me in the comments what do you think about yesterday's Canucks and Flyers game, also what you think about the team in general and these stats. I hope you enjoyed this Rosén 99, and bye.